and jump into aqueducts, fire hydrants and hazardous smoke alarms on the back of us. But mama, don't cry for me, rap for me, trap for me, live for me, breathe for me, sing for me.
Yo, say it. Say it, baby.
Love you, Bob.
Love you too.
You know what freedom is? No fear. Just like Tom Cruise.
Hello everyone, welcome to another movie review. I just saw one battle after another. This is the new film from Paul Thomas Anderson. Before I get into this movie, I just want to briefly talk about him because aside from like Licorice Pizza, I think, because I unboxed that one, I haven't really talked about his movies on my channel a lot. I'm not a huge fan. I've seen a couple. Licorice Pizza, like I mentioned, I really like that one. There Will Be Blood, which was excellent. I watched that for the first time just a couple years ago. Boogie Nights I've seen, which was good. I didn't love it, but it's a really good movie. What else have I seen? Punch Drunk Love, again, didn't love it, but it was a good movie. And I know a lot of people love this guy. They consider him one of the greats, and I totally get it, you know. Maybe I need to see all of his movies, but, you know, from the ones I have seen, I personally don't put him up there as a great, you know, in my directors that I like, you know. But I'm definitely, you know, a fan, I guess. I'll see whatever he makes at this point. This movie was great. So, yeah, going into this, I knew, you know, he's very talented. He's had Oscar nominations. I don't think he's ever won. I don't think. I could be wrong on that. But, yeah, I always kind of mix him and Darren Aronofsky up with each other sometimes. I don't know why. Like, I know the difference, but, like, sometimes I'll confuse their movies for each other. Like, sometimes I might think Mother was a Paul Thomas Anderson for some reason, or maybe, like, I don't know, Punch Drunk Love was Darren Aronofsky. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I mix them up sometimes. Does anybody else do that? I'm definitely more of an Aronofsky fan, but this guy, I respect his work. You know, I need to see all his films, like I said. Now, this movie has been getting amazing reviews, which got me very excited. Because when I first saw that trailer, the first trailer, it was very strange. Like, the movie felt very, like, comedic. It was a very strange trailer. And then the second trailer came out a few months later, and it had a much more serious tone. And another thing that kind of confused me about the movie, it had this very much, like, action movie blockbuster kind of feel. Like, you know what I mean? And some people have been saying that, actually. Like, it's sort of a pseudo-blockbuster in a way. And Paul Thomas Anderson, of course, makes these artsy movies. That's not really his kind of thing to make. So I had my reservations, like, okay, this is an artsy movie, or is this a blockbuster? Or is it sort of an artsy movie that's a blockbuster in disguise, you know? And that's sort of what this was. Basic premise of the movie, you have Leonardo DiCaprio's the lead, of course. He's part of a group called the French 75, I think that's the name. Sorry, there was a lot to process. It's an almost 3-hour movie. The French 75, I think is the name of them. Basically a group of revolutionaries that are going against the government and freeing immigrants that are detained and robbing banks and, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. You know, they mentioned something about, like, the abortion clinics and stuff, I think, briefly. So they're very anti-government, and him and another member of the group have a relationship with each other, and they end up having a child. And then many years later, I'll just say the past comes back to haunt, and that's all you really need to know. Because I don't want to say too much. You know, there are some things in the plot that I didn't even know were going to be a thing, because the trailers were kind of vague with, like, what the whole storyline was, you know. They did show certain characters and whatnot, and you do understand that Leo has a daughter. And they do show, you know, the pregnant, I forget the character's name. Beverly Hills, I think that's her code name. His wife, essentially. But yeah, the main plot of this movie is pretty wild. Like, it's many years later, like I said, and the past comes back. And Sean Penn is the main villain, essentially, and he's part of the military that's trying to stop them. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much because the less you know, the better, I think. Yes, like I mentioned, almost 3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I definitely felt the runtime, but I wasn't bored, which is important. There's always a difference. Like, you can feel the runtime and not be bored. Like, I hate to compare it to like a superhero movie, but like Avengers Endgame is 3 hours, obviously, but that flies by. This one, like, when I say flies by, you're entertained throughout, but you do know it's a 3-hour movie. You feel it. Same case here. This is an almost 3-hour movie, but you're entertained throughout the whole thing. Everything is always interesting. There's maybe like 2 scenes I would see people could consider boring, I guess, or kind of drag a little bit. But other than those 2 scenes, and you might know which 2 I'm referring to once you see the movie, this movie was entertaining throughout. It was absolute chaos for most of it. I was kind of on the edge of my seat for a lot of it, actually, especially towards the end. Now, does this movie live up to the hype? Absolutely. This movie was big. It was epic. And if you watch my channel, I am a huge fan of big, epic 3-hour-long movies. My favorite movie is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is a long 3-hour epic. And this very much felt the same way, especially in the third act. It really felt like a Western in the third act. You'd have like a desert kind of scenery. You have less dialogue. You have not like standoffs in the traditional sense, but you do sort of have standoffs going on. It felt very much like a Western, and I really appreciated that in the last, third act. And all the building towards everything. The second act was very chaotic. Probably the most entertaining act of the movie, actually, for general audiences, I guess. I think my audience liked the movie. Again, this is sort of an artsy movie, not completely. So I don't know how, like, regular moviegoers are going to feel about it, They'll probably enjoy it, but they might complain, like, oh, it was too long, or I wanted to be more satisfied by the ending, or I wanted more action, or, whatever. I thought there was plenty of action for what it was. Like I said, it didn't drag for me. And I only have, like, 2 kind of nitpicks, and they're very minor. They're sort of plot conveniences, which I'm going to do a little spoiler section at the end of the video, because I really want to talk about it. And then one other thing I had, which isn't really a complaint, but something I would have liked to seen happen, which didn't happen at the end. But I'll talk about that in the spoilers later. So, yes, this movie absolutely lives up to the hype. Again, though, I don't think it's going to be for everybody, because it's very long, and they might be expecting, like, a full-blown action movie. You know what I mean? Kind of like Eddington a couple months ago. I feel like most people were expecting something different, because the trailer kind of portrayed something different. And this one, you have Leo DiCaprio, who's obviously an A-lister. He's the main star. People are just probably going to be assuming it's one movie, but it isn't. One kind of movie, I should say. If they don't recognize the name Paul Thomas Anderson, But yeah, this movie was excellent. Like, it really was. All the performances. Leo, of course, never disappoints. You also have Benicio del Toro, I should mention. He was great. Regina Hall, who I've only really known from Scary Movie, she was great in this. Tiana Taylor plays his wife. She was amazing. The daughter, played by, I think her name's Chase Infinity. I think this might be like her first movie, because I think it says, like, introducing. She gets the introducing credit. Sometimes with a young actor, they'll put that, introducing this actor as this character. I don't know if she's done a lot of movies, but she was very good in this. She has a lot of tense scenes, and she really did carry them. She made it feel real. Who else was in this? Did I mention Sean Penn? So, Sean Penn, if he doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, this is a wild performance by him. There are things in the first scene you see him in that I was not expecting. His character was not at all like anything I was predicting. He did an amazing job. He's obviously a 2-time Oscar winner. Give him a third one. Supporting, though. I want The Rock to win Best Actor. Give Sean Penn Best Supporting for this one. Yeah, this was a great movie. I really don't have negative things to say. Like I said, I have 2 little nitpicks, but they're so minor it doesn't even matter. I'm going to give this movie a 10. Like, it was that good. This is my first 10 of the year. This is the best movie of the year now. I thought it was an incredible journey. Like, really. Like, by the end of it, I was like, man. Like, even in the first scene, I was like, I can already feel this movie's going to be awesome. You know what I mean? The way it's shot, like, everything. There's really cool shots towards the end, too, of, like, winding roads that kind of go up and down hills, sort of, and the way the camera captures that is like incredible. I think they shot this movie with IMAX cameras entirely. I did see it in IMAX, of course, because yes. I know they had like special 70 millimeter showings or whatever. I didn't go out of my way to do those because it's more money, and the theater is kind of a drive. There's only one over here where I live. And they don't let you pick your seat. You have to get there like extra early. I saw Oppenheimer, if you guys remember that, in that theater, and I'm doing that for the Odyssey next year for sure. But for this movie, I was excited, but I wasn't like, oh, I gotta see it in 70 millimeter. You know what I mean? So I just went to the regular IMAX, and it looked amazing. Like, it was very well shot. There's a lot of great close-ups. There's a lot of close-ups in the movie, actually. Which helps because you can feel the characters' emotions or what they're going through, and the camera work was just on point. I don't know who did who the cinematographer was, and then the score too is very simple, but it's very effective, and you do hear it in the trailers. It's like very much. There's a lot of piano notes going on, like just single notes, like dun 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 dun. And there's other things in there, but the score was actually very effective. Like every scene fit perfectly with the music and vice versa. I don't know who did the score. I should have researched more, but yeah, the score was great, the camera work was great, the acting was great, the story was great, everything was great. Like I said, this is the movie of the year for me right now. My only thing is rewatchability. Now, I am gonna buy this movie eventually, obviously. Is it gonna be super rewatchable? I don't know yet. I think it will be. 3-hour movies you can't just throw on all the time. But I've always mentioned, The Irishman. Love that movie. I can watch that anytime. It's 3.5 hours, but I can watch that anytime. So, it is possible. We'll just have to see, as time goes by. But, yeah, I'm giving this a 10. A+. It's a fucking great movie. It really is. Twists and turns, which I love. High energy throughout most of it. And just a great idea. It's a very, original story, obviously. This wasn't, a real group that existed. Now, as you guys know, I don't ever talk politics, ever, because, no. But, you could say this movie's political because they are dealing with the government and dealing with, illegal immigrants and stuff like that. It's not necessarily ICE that's in the movie, but you can tell that's what was probably the inspiration for this, because this movie, every movie has an inspiration. They don't just come out of nowhere, especially in this day and age. I'm assuming the screenwriters and maybe Paul Thomas Anderson were wanting to make a movie dealing with this subject matter. Now, I'm not going to say the movie is political. I'm not going to say it's pro one way or the other. It does show good and bad on both sides. But just know that going ahead, into the movie, if you're a political person, you might not like certain things, depending on your viewpoint, But, I'm not political at all. I'm never going to make a political video ever, so don't ever ask me to, or ask my thoughts on anything like that. Because, one, that's just, that's not a smart idea, because you want to be able to please your audience, no matter, I don't care what you think. Whatever you believe in is whatever you believe in, I'm happy for you. Some things are good, some things aren't, but it is what it is. But I'll just say that this movie is maybe trying to say something. I don't know. But for me, I wasn't, like I said, I'm not political, so it didn't affect how I viewed the movie. I just look at it from a very I look at the filmmaking and the rewatchability, like I said, and all that stuff, entertainment value. I just look at movies like that. Yeah. So, anyways, let me stop ranting about that. I don't know why I started talking about politics like that. So yeah, I'm giving this a 10. I really don't have a lot else to say. It's just a great movie. It really is. It's epic. Definitely go see it. I hope it does well, because Warner Brothers has been having a great year. Between this and Sinners, which was my number one all the way up until now. I think Weapons was Weapons Warner Brothers? I think it was. Right? I'm trying to remember. But yeah, they've been doing so good this year. So I hope this movie makes a lot of money. It really deserves it. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts on the film in the comments, because I'm going to talk spoilers now. If you haven't seen the movie, please leave. It's going to be very brief, though. I'm just going to talk about my little nitpicks, because I just want to address them. It stops this movie from being perfect. All right, spoiler time. Now, my two little nitpicks, like I said, were plot conveniences. So, number one, it bugged me when the daughter, Willa, didn't tell Regina Hall that she had the cell phone. And obviously that led Sean Penn and them to catch up to them. I get it. I get why they had to do it. And I guess you could justify it. Like, yeah, she's a 16-year-old kid. She doesn't know any better. But it's like, come on. Are you kidding me? Like, it is what it is. That one bugged me the most, actually. The second plot convenience, it was towards the end when she's about to get, I guess, butchered by the 1776 guys. And then the guy has a change of heart and rescues her and shoots him up. Again, I kind of don't buy that, because, you know, he takes her from Sean Penn, no problem, drops her off, no problem, pretty much, and then has a change of heart. You know, I get it, she's a kid, but it's like, you just met her, you clearly didn't give a shit when you took her in the first place, and you do this kind of thing all the time. So I don't know, it was just kind of unbelievable to me that he decided to shoot up the place and save her. You know, I don't know. Yeah. And then my other thing I mentioned wasn't, you know, it's separate from those, but I really wanted to see the mom come back at the end. They do the little narration thing with the letter, which I really liked, but I was really hoping they'd find a way to bring her back into the movie. It is what it is. It just sucks, because that's such a great character, and she's only in the first, like, 20-30 minutes of the movie, and it's a long movie. So yeah. I don't know, I really wanted to see more of her. But yeah, those are just little minor complaints, really. This movie really was that damn good. So again, let me know in the comments how you felt about it. Yeah, awesome movie. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one. Bye bye.